Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bankrupt joined again by Jimmy and Steve.
You have no proof of this.
YOLA.
And today's matchup is me versus Steve. Steve is playing U7 Gohan, and I'm playing a deck for the third time. This is the first time I've ever really played Supreme kind of time, so let's kind of see how it goes out. Buttons, links. All right. So, Steve, you've been bringing U7 a lot lately, and I feel like you're getting more and more comfortable with it. And you started this deck originally, didn't you? Or you started in the red area originally?
Yeah, it was actually the second deck that I played about a year and a half ago. Started off with that red Vegeta, starter deck of Vegeta, I should say. I'm a big fan because I started off with that Vegeta. I'm a big fan of U7. It's sort of my throwback go-to archetype. It just feels good. I don't know why.
I mean, if a deck that draws a lot is normally a good deck. And earlier this week, you all saw me play Supreme Kai when I was playing against Chase. And I mentioned in that video that this is the first time I've ever really played this deck. I left my deck at home, and I had to borrow someone's deck, and our buddy Nick allowed me to borrow his Supreme Kai time, a deck I've never played before. So this is the third time I've actually played it in total. And let's just see how it goes out.
Yeah, I feel like both of these decks are like almost like very comfy decks. Like I do get the appeal of U7 as a whole, because U7 tends to be like just very straightforward, just decent text on card, like always fun to play. I don't think there's like a unfun U7 archetype.
I can't think of one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, especially because this one has like Warriors of Universe 7, so you can splash some of the non-red U7 support. So it's just like really comfy. You just kind of get to do everything that you want with the deck, and it's just straightforward. It's just a bunch of dudes. And then Supreme Kai, on the other hand, is just turn cardboard sideways and don't worry about how much energy you're tapping, because you don't even need it in the first place.
So you're going to notice that, much like my earlier match with Chase, where I'm so familiar with decks that require worrying about your energy, there's a lot of times where I'm like, should I charge here? Should I not charge? And I end up still charging when I probably shouldn't have. Or I pass turn when I've done nothing. Like in this case, I passed my turn 2 with open energy, didn't play card. That's also because I didn't actually see an overwhelm card I could play. All the overwhelm cards in my hand required 6 overwhelms. So I'm kind of in the point where I have just to wait it out, take these couple hits until I'm able to actually start playing cards, which is fun.
Yep. It's easy to forget with like Overrealm decks. I kind of get that same thing where Overrealm's like always my pet deck. I always love playing Overrealm decks. But after taking like a long break from it and then coming back to it, it's a different type of like resource management.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely is. Like I found myself a lot of times having to reread cards and just be like, okay, I know what this deck needs to do. I know what my opponent is trying to do. I just have to work around that. And before we go too far, Gogeta is a great, I know it's not your main unison in this deck, but that is such a good unison for this deck, because it allows you to, free play the Gohan if you don't have on the board. You get a red search in general for it, which is nice. And it's a 15k, which is just really good.
Yeah, I'm honestly thinking about going up on this unison, because let's say 40%, maybe even 50% of the time when I play a game, I have issues getting either a Gohan or a Frieza unison. Or in my testing today, I had issues getting a skillless, believe it or not. And I think I run 8 in almost every U7 Gohan deck that I play or try out. So I really think the searching is probably the way to go. I probably need to get 2 more of the promo Android 18s, maybe, just so I can at least get it by get a Gohan or a skillless or a unison by turn 2 or turn 3. Because really, with Gohan, if you cannot find one of those 3 cards, the deck fails. But when it goes good, it's beautiful.
Here, I'm sure the Merciless Barrage my card, which is, it's great. It feels good. But this Trunks in the long run still could benefit me just by putting cards into my drop. And because I did activate Overwhelm, I'm able to establish this Mass Saiyan, which is really great because it gets rid of your cards. So now you can't, even though you've already, I think, gotten the draw off the Gohan. I'm sorry, Gohan. Your board's cleared right now, and you have to establish it again during your turn if you just want to benefit, because you don't get it back to the end of your turn. And now it's a 20k crit coming at you.
Yeah, it really hurts even more so. It destroys any type of plan of trying to filtering out my deck so I can actually get to some of my good battle cards that I actually play. Because for the most part, I'm just comboing, and that destroys the whole reason why I'm comboing. I want that extra draw off Gohan.
So I looked at my Z deck because I was like, okay, I just got to swing with the Trunks twice, combo cards put in my Z energy, and you did. I'm like, well, it's just going to my dropped in, and it would just be fuel for my following turn now, because that was just really good. You stopped me from pretty much building resources to either do another overarm or play a Z battle card. So going to your turn 3, I said earlier, your preferred unison isn't Gogeta, it's actually the Frieza because of the spirit boosting. And when you charge it, it kind of let me know that you had another one in your hand ready to kind of like switch out in its place.
Yeah, I did that because I'm running out of Gohans and Vanillas. Like I knew defensively I could use Frieza's auto to grab a combo with a skills from the drop, which will at least get me one more card when I do combo with that skills defensively. But yeah, like I said, just not having that Gohan out is really rough. Early game, and Supreme Kai is really good going at you head first early game.
I will say, taking advantage of knocking out my unison as soon as possible, because you're very familiar with Supreme Kai, so you know how the deck should operate. You have experience with it. Knocking that out, it does give me another card in my drop. So now when I overwhelm, I'm pretty much set on what I need to do and to awaken at 6 life. But if I want to maximize this turn, I either have to have one already in my hand, or I need to unfortunately overwhelm now, get cards in there to awaken, and then I can't use the unison's ability to overwhelm twice because I'd already overwhelmed for the turn. So no, knocking that out during your previous turn, very smart, and a good way of slowing me down.
Yeah, I figured if anything, it'd make you use an energy on your turn. It was Supreme Kai, that one energy can turn into a mirror assault from the skies over realm. I mean, and 30k double strike, draw one, restand at the beginning of the next turn is like ridiculous. And against me, where I know I'm probably already low on a hand size without a Gohan out.
Yeah. And it was this secret rare being able to play from both the hand or warp for 2 energies is really strong, especially the fact that I'm able to get rid of one of your key resources as the Gohan, so your draws get slowed down. But you just conveniently had this mirror in your drop for me to practically steal from you. Now, you did sideboard before this match, and rightfully so you sideboarded Violent Rays, which is something you probably should do. And now I can't swing with my secret rare, but hey. And so here, Cooper's effect will go off when you play a card. Now, if it's energy cost 7 or less, I get to take it by getting one of my cards. I was trying to get rid of your blocker, but then we were talking about it, and I asked Jimmy about this. I'm like, hey, I can't take this, can I? And Jimmy confirmed that no, because it doesn't have an energy cost because Cooper states 7 or less, not up to 7.
Yeah, it does target to 7, and tokens have no energy cost at all, not even 0, which is very good to know, especially with effects like this, because it does, as a logic standpoint, it does make sense. I can just grab that. But then when you look at the actual rules, it's like, oh, like it doesn't have energy cost, so it can't be 7 or less. Which those specifications are very important.
So here I'm pretty much just kind of working my way up the trunks as to now establish my Z deck, or Z energy, to play potentially the pan. And because I couldn't kind of maximize the strength, you took care of my unison, I'm going to use the pan's ability to keep trunks on the board.
Did you have a Goten in the warp or hand?
I didn't have it in the warp. I charged it because I think it was during this actual game where I talked about it last my match against Chase, where I wasn't 100% sure on how these cards fully operated. And I think it was during this turn when I realized, or this particular matchup, where I realized, oh, I can actually be playing these cards. But I had not seen another one yet.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Goten is amazing. It's nice to be able to play it from the warp, I'm not going to lie. But if you have one in hand, play it. For one, if you have a Trunks out and draw card, 25k double strike, for Supreme Kai, it really needed that on top of the 19k dual attacker Trunks comboing those cards for the pan. The dash packs really did good for Supreme Kai, we'll say.
Yeah. I'm not super high on the Pan Z battle card, but like I am like head over heels for this Trunks though. Fighting against Fate 2.0. I absolutely love this card.
So you need to clarify what just happened there. Out of instinct, because like I said, I just drew the card. I had it angled enough where I could see it, and I was like, oh shit, I see this. You want me to shuffle my life and whatnot. And I even gave the option to Steve to shuffle the life. He's like, no, you're good. Just put it back down now. I'm like, all right. Just wanted to make sure, because I actually saw what the card was, because it's just the nature of just drawing the card. And I'm not used to drawing cards to my life, because I don't typically play those decks. My instinct was to put it into my hand. I was like, shit.
You'll never do it again.
Hopefully not.
Oh, he will.
That's all it takes. That one time. But yeah, I've done it. Can't remember who I was playing. Nick. Definitely did that.
So now that I've used Pan in combination with the Supreme Kai, I have a pretty good board for this next turn coming up, depending on what you can do in response to it.
So I don't know if anybody saw that, but I threw a shoe out. Anybody see that counterplay shoe? Yeah, that was meant for Bancroft's AOD and that Bobbity. But he did not bring AOD, so it foiled my plans.
Why don't you just run Corin's weed bag?
Yeah, I don't have that.
Just neg 5k to any card ignoring barrier.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
Yeah, just run that shit.
You got some of those? I'm gonna need some of those.
I got some extras, I think.
No, don't get on my salesman crop, okay? I want to sell this 33-cent card to this man, okay?
That sounds good.
And I'm gonna get all 33 cents for it.
So for this turn, I have a couple different options. You can see the protection of people in my hand. I'm going ahead. I think I go ahead and proc it now, just get out of the way. I'm at a high enough life where it doesn't really matter as much, but you have 4 energy. I've seen before with this deck amass a huge amount of Z energy, and I know you played the Vegeta in your Z deck. So I'm trying to make sure I'm able to protect myself as much as possible in case you try to go for a game this turn. Knowing that the first card you take, I am going to take from you, or sorry, the first card you play, I'm going to take from you depending on what it is.
Yeah, and is this the turn where I
Yes.
just completely blank out?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
is.
just blanked out.
And so I've been waiting for you to draw up this after already popping one of them. I knew, like I said, at this point, you're getting very low on resources. You're not getting the normal amount of draws you would get. And fun fact, the auto on this card says search top 5, add a universe. I think Warriors Universe 7 to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So I just got to shuffle my deck real quick. And I felt like at that point, that really kind of like messed with you.
Yeah. Oh, I was already messed with Bancroft. Using my like number 2 deck against me, and it's a better version of it with a better SCR. Put it to you this way: I'm using Rebellu and a power overseeing time.
So, Bancroft,
Just to
why
get
the
my
fuck did you shuffle your deck?
The auto on Gohan, because I get the auto.
No, the fuck you don't.
It says search top, look top 5 cards of your deck, add a Warriors Universe 7 to your hand. Then shuffle your deck.
Off a Cumber?
No, off
he
Gohan.
stole my Gohan.
Gohan has the on-play auto.
Cumber gains control of the card. Steve will get the top 5 search, and then you gain control.
What?
I thought so. Okay, so I was in that moment the same instance as the Mecha Frieza, where Mecha Frieza's auto as the master of the card, I gained its auto instead.
No, the auto triggers in Steve's and resolves on Steve's side of the field.
Oh, because he's turn player. I am so sorry. That is true. Yeah. No, I got it mixed up with the Mecha Frieza, because since Steve is turn player, he would resolve the auto. I do apologize about that.
It's no big deal.
I don't know how much that would have changed this matchup, but no, yes. So Steve would have gotten the search, top 5 search, got to add a card to his hand. He could have potentially grabbed another Gohan at that point to establish one, which I would have been fine with, because then you're lower on energy. So I do apologize for that. That is definitely a misplay on our part.
And at this point, where I haven't had a successful play of a Gohan, I haven't been able to filter my deck out. So I can't get to a whole lot of my negates, a whole lot of my combo power. So I don't think it really mattered too much, honestly.
You are at 2 life. I do have a double strike on board, which is 35K. I'm gonna go ahead and go swing with it, expecting you to negate. And I kind of gave you a sign that I'm ready for a negate by charging the Goku, which
I know that.
Which is only 3 energy.
I love that card.
And as soon as you drop a negate, I immediately just said no. And I think I leave it at that, because I have other plays I want to do this turn, but I'm just at this point just trying to see if I can just dwindle your hand down, because I do have a super combo in my hand, but it's absolutely useless right now because I can't do anything with it. So yeah, you can't combo out of it. And so yes, with one misplay, I think we caught on our end with the stealing of the Gohan. I still believe that didn't change the result of this match. Jimmy, you correct me if you want.
I think Steve would have won the second that auto resolved. He would have drew it to Victory Strike Goku, and then he has the other card that just puts the card into play, attacking your leader, and you cannot respond.
Yes, that card. Thanks y'all tuning in. Keep in mind, there's buttons, there's links. Bye.